Hello and welcome to day 2 of the Spawn on Me Wardcast Collab Couch. I'm Dylan Ovento.
My name is Jeremy Johnson. I'm Kahlief Adams, that's what it is.
Also, a.k.a.
Jeremy Johnson.
We're joined by two awesome people. We have Harris Foster on the far left.
Hello.
Finji.
Hi, I'm from Finji.
You're of Finji. You're the Finji.
Yes, I'm Finji. I'm the baby Finji.
Baby Finji.
Yeah, of the extended Finji universe, I'm the baby.
In the MCU of Finji.
Yeah.
We're also joined by Dante Douglas.
Hi, I'm Dante Douglas. I write things. I'm a writer online. That's what I do. I'm here to cover things and talk about video games.
At the Big E3.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm big at E3.
So how's the show been going, guys?
Cool.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's been great.
It is my first entire day here, and it feels like the 50th, so I'm very tired. But
Yeah.
I'm having a great time. Saw a lot of video games.
You can't be tired yet. You are young.
I know I can't be tired yet, and that's the problem.
You are not allowed to be tired yet. My old ass with plantar fasciitis, you can't be old.
I mean,
be
basically,
tired.
a lot of today has just been like, wandering around, going to a couple appointments, checking out some video games on the floor, and attempting to eat food between those things.
Sure.
Which is tough.
Just cramming it in your mouth.
Oh, that's so true though. That is like basically like all of E3 at all times. It's like
It's a
have you
survival
eaten?
game.
Yeah, it's like Fallout Shelter. It's
Exactly.
It's like, did your levels of water go down enough?
Yeah.
Did you actually eat? Did you actually like give yourself a time to rest? It's all that kind of stuff.
It's
Seriously.
It's like in Bioshock Infinite, where you're just shoving food in your mouth and you smoke a pack of cigarettes for no reason.
That's how it works.
Wait a minute.
And yet I still feel terrible.
E3 is kind of like Rapture if you think about it.
We literally
really
just
do.
talked about that in the previous episode.
Okay, good. I'm glad we're keeping that thread going.
Yeah, there's a canon.
This would be the Fallout dialogue tree.
Oh, God.
Right. Mm-hmm.
A
Meta.
new addition to the Fallout universe I heard from the Bethesda press conference.
It's coming in Fallout 77.
Yes.
Yes, we are the Wastelanders.
Yeah.
Tell me about
yeah.
it, dude.
Yeah, that was interesting. I don't know what you
your
guys
thoughts about that there.
Fallout 76?
Yes.
I think that there are a lot of really cool people working at Bethesda. I appreciate that they were able to come out there and say, like, yo, this is for the fans. We really appreciate that people have been sticking with this game, because I love it when games are big, and I love it when games really get like the recognition they deserve. I also think that Fallout 76 is fundamentally flawed, and nothing you can do can fix it. I think that game.
Whoa.
I think that game was premised poorly.
Sure.
Okay.
And I think that Wastelanders is a little bit, to me, it feels like a little bit like Too Little Too Late. What we're looking at there is the reintroduction of NPCs, which they touted, right? The reintroduction of things like dialogue trees. All that's great. But if you're applying that after the fact to this multiplayer like setup, it's not going to stick.
Right.
It's really just, I can't. I don't feel like there's much you can do to make that game into the game that it really could be at this point.
I missed that this was called Wastelander. Is the expansion called Wastelander?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
To my
literally called Fallout 76 people. Like,
Yeah.
it's...
Because remember when the game launched and there weren't any of
Yeah,
those? So
And there's a huge narrative conceit about why.
yeah,
Yeah.
and also the huge narrative conceit kind of clashes with some earlier established lore, but whatever, it's fine. It's not like
No one's paying
I care.
attention
Yeah.
anyway.
They want it to be their playground now. I think that's the most frustrating part to me.
Yes.
So is it just going to feel like a existing Fallout 3 mod, like multiplayer mod? Now it's just like multiple players running throughout the same world?
Sure.
now?
Kinda, sorta.
Probably.
I mean, that's kind of my thought. I mean, really, one of the bigger problems that I feel with it too is that, like, by making it a multiplayer game, by allowing and incentivizing the use of like nuclear weapons, you're going against the spirit of the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's called Fallout.
Yeah.
It's a game about the effects of nuclear fallout and how it's bad. So it seems a little odd that would be kind of one of the things they keep touting in all
So what
these
you're
reels.
really pitching for is them to just rename it Re-Fallout.
Sure. Or they could call it
Fall in.
Fall In. That's
Fall
the
in
next
the
game.
spring.
That's the next
It's our
game.
new clothing line.
Hashtag radiation for
Oh,
that ass.
boy.
Fall is in, and we... Did you say radiation for that ass?
For that ass. Radiation for that ass. Coming in spring 2020.
What's really wild about this is I recently watched Chernobyl, that HBO
Yes.
show.
Yeah,
We've
me
been talking
too.
about that.
Yeah.
That is a big tonal shift going from that to that Fallout 76 presser, and like Chernobyl's like, a tiny bit of radiation will destroy the world, and then Fallout 76 is like, just drop nukes, just do it on your friends.
Whatever.
Like, yeah,
The worst part to me, it was quantified in the guy being on stage, like one of the designers, and be like, and the best part nukes, and he like does like a mushroom
I
cloud
know.
like
Oh
gesture.
no!
Just
And I'm like,
And then you couldn't actually make the nukes happen, and then everyone was like, "Let's just be friends anyway."
this is this is. Thanks for having me on this podcast so I can talk about how much I hate this conceit because
It's reasonable.
it just feels crass, and I feel like someone should be pointing out. Yeah, it feels kind of weird and crass.
I feel like people have been pointing it out.
yeah,
and
yeah.
but like with, I guess the problem I have is that like, you know, I'm a Fallout 76 apologist. I enjoy
Fair.
playing it.
Yeah.
But like I agree that like it doesn't match the tone of what Fallout games in the past have been. But people have been complaining about that since 3.
That's true. That's true.
And it's, you
3
know,
had a little mini nuke launcher.
Sure.
Yeah.
And as someone that was introduced to the series with 3, and like this seems like, you know, pretty respectable to 1 and 2 from what I've seen.
I think good nuclear commentary always stops at game number 2 because my favorite like nuclear commentary game is the Command and Conquer Red Alert series.
Yeah.
Dude, if you want some fun nuke action that actually is totally, like consistent, play some Red Alert. This is just my Red Alert hour where
I also didn't think that I'd hear the term "fun nuke action."
That's the new genre of Metal Gear Solid.
Fun nuke
nuke action.
In a world,
Yeah.
or fun nuke action,
Fun nuke action.
and radiation for that ass.
Should we talk about games that happened this year?
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, good host of this podcast. Why don't you steer this boat?
Well, let's talk about another post-apocalyptic game.
Yeah.
Your game. I just blanked on it.
Overland? You want to talk about Overland?
Overland.
Let's talk
Yeah.
about Overland.
I would like to point out that Dylan totally forgot the name of Overland
Hey, you
just
forgot
then.
what dogs were called.
Okay.
It all works out. It all even
Okay,
Wait a minute,
that's fair.
what?
There was a Nintendo event where I was promoting Overland, and Nintendo PR, official Nintendo, came in and were like, "Hey, we're gonna cut a promo for Overland. Stand in front of this backdrop like this and talk about Overland." And Overland, a big component in the game, is dogs. I have a dog on my shirt here. But I forgot the word for dog because I was so tired, and so my sentence was explore a wasteland where you're fighting for your survival with dangerous enemies, wonderful allies, and animals.
And then they
There
looked
are also animals.
and then
Yeah,
they looked at you
animals
and they
are
were
there.
like,
And it was like,
"What animals?"
yeah, it's like the most
Well.
important interview I had the whole day, and that's the only one I messed up. Overland is doing really, really good. We don't have it here at E3, but I am here to talk about it. And yeah, it's we're coming to like every platform, including one of the first games on Apple Arcade, which is super exciting.
That's dope.
Yeah, people are getting really stoked for it. We haven't really talked about this much externally, but we're slowing down the game's in first access on itch. We are slowing down that process because we are getting to the point where we are finishing the game.
Yeah.
That's super exciting. And so basically we're like cutting off the point at which we want players to experience new content, and we're going to save a whole dump of content for the final release sometime this
fantastic.
fall.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's super exciting. We actually wrote the ending of the game together at the Saltzman's house in their living room.
Oh, awesome.
So yeah, we had a meeting a few months back, and we were just sitting around in the living room, and Adam flips open a notebook and goes, "How should this game end?" and we all just like sat around for a few hours with beers and stuff, and we just like hashed out the ending to the game, and what we came up with is super, super cool, and I'm excited to see what people think of it. Yeah.
That's
really
fantastic.
Yeah,
That's super
it's,
dope.
It's really like Finji it feels like a family that is also a game studio.
The
Yeah.
FAMG, as I like to
FAMG.
call it.
FAMG.
Yes,
pending.
that is a Dylan term.
Is that like Guiji?
It's a lot like Guiji. It's a lot
Did
like
you walk by the Guiji?
I walked by Guiji. I missed
there's a
Charles
real
Martinet.
Guiji?
Yeah, it's like about this.
Yeah, Charles Martinet was by it. I missed him by like 5 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I saw someone
Okay.
posted a photo mere minutes after I was there.
rules.
Charles Goudinet.
Yeah.
I tried.
Gutine.
There you go.
Yeah,
Good enough.
very Italian name.
enough.
Yeah, no, he was taking pictures with. He was like doing scary faces next to Luigi. That dude's such a ham. I love him.
I love it though. He's like,
yeah.
I found my thing. People love me for it.
Yeah.
I would do it too.
He does one thing and he does it really well.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
appreciate that.
And like, you have to be the happiest person on earth if your job is literally to make millions. Walking into a room one day, saying 3 words, one of them being spaghetti, and then you walk out. Like,
Yahoo.
what? Yeah. Bing, bing, wahoo.
As an Italian, I'm
Yeah.
offended right now.
Yeah. Now, you know who I want to meet is the guy who does Toad. That guy. He's probably like a big time. He's got like his sunglasses on, his suit.
He's probably
like,
salty.
I'm Toad.
He's probably salty as fuck.
Yeah.
He's like, yo, nobody gives me the love that I deserve.
No one loves Toad.
No, I
gotta imagine that the vocal labor for Toad is pretty high.
Yeah.
He basically just screams.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, have you seen the clip of the Yoshi Mario Kart sounds slowed down so that you can hear the normal?
You can hear the human voice.
Yoshi.
So the little green men from Toy Story, voiced by Patrick Warburton, pitched up.
Oh, really?
Yes.
There you go.
Who knew?
Like, that's how it's been
Yes.
since it started?
I did not know this.
Wow.
That's
Entire
wild.
time.
Huh.
Interesting.
That's cool.
That's kind of dope.
I went to Disneyland yesterday because I had nothing to do, so I was like, I'm not going to spend.
not?
Yeah, I'm not going to spend my time here. Going to Disneyland. You see every like Disney character walking through the park, and it's like every one of them you could have a conversation with about their character, right? But I walked by Cruella de Vil. What would you talk to Cruella de Vil about? It's like, oh, you suck.
Dogs, am I right?
Dogs,
Or
right?
animals.
Animals.
What is that?
Animals.
A dog? I don't know.
What is a dog?
But yeah, what would you talk to Cruella de Vil about? It's like, oh,
Hair.
Her hair.
Her hair.
Yeah.
Because her hair is dope.
actually what
She's
it
evil,
is.
but her hair is still dope.
Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah.
true.
Gotta give respect where it's earned,
As a person with no hair, I rep all people who have hair to the
good.
fullest.
Yeah. So Dante, what are you covering here at the show?
I'm
what's going
covering.
on?
I'm doing kind of some general roundup articles mostly, and then something about the state of the industry. And to be honest, I don't know what I'm going to write about yet. It's only day one.
Sure.
But I'm planning to check out as many games as I possibly can. Tomorrow evening is the Mix, which is the big indie games.
Yep.
We're going to stuff them all in one room, and you can come see them event.
And it's hella hot.
It's always really hot. I'll see a gajillion video games.
Yeah.
So that's my that's kind of my big plan. And then I've been going to a couple appointments. I'm very curious to see the Avengers game, which
Yes.
is being published by Square Enix. I forget the
Crystal Dynamics.
Crystal Dynamics. Thank
Yep.
you. Who previously did the Tomb Raiders? Yeah.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
did one of
yeah.
them.
They did the
Tombs
first
Raider.
two.
The Tombs
I believe?
Raider.
The Raiders
Yeah.
of the
Yeah, of the new
Eidos
generation.
Montreal did the last one. I don't remember.
Sure, you're probably right. I didn't play past the first one. I thought it was fine.
Me-
Anyway,
same,
this is
same.
off the topic. Point is, I'm going to see Avengers. Very curious about what that game is going to be, especially because I was not particularly wowed by that trailer. That was
Oh no, that
during-
trailer was booty butt cheeks. That thing was doo-doo.
I was like,
I'll say it out loud.
What's really interesting is I've been playing a lot of. Thank you for that, Kahlief. I've been playing a lot of Spider-Man PS4 recently,
Yes.
Yeah.
and I think I've got my criticisms of that game, but that's a very good game.
yeah.
Yep.
That's I think it's a very well done reinterpretation of a classic character into this new setting. They're pulling from his history as a character, but they're
Right.
doing some new stuff.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
all very nice. I very much like that, and I'm seeing this Avengers trailer, and I'm like, I don't see any of that. Granted, I don't think the Avengers is going to be open world. It's not really the same type of game.
Right.
But I think none of that charm was there. None of that.
Yeah.
None of that character stuff felt like it was there. And I feel it was just it was weird to me because I'm like this. I might be wrong. That might just be a bad trailer. Maybe the game's fine.
Yeah.
But I do think that was not. It didn't sell me on this idea of these Avengers, and that's what really
Sure.
worried me because the whole fun of the Avengers is that they're very likable characters, they're very distinct, and they can bounce off each other, and they have different viewpoints that kind of play off of one another. I didn't see a lot of that in
So,
that trailer.
do you think that's because we've seen Hollywood actors portray these characters for 10 years,
Well,
and this is not those guys?
I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I also feel like they're Spider-Man PS4. Going back to that, it's that guy didn't look like
Yeah.
any of the Spider-Mans. I
Right.
mean, vaguely.
But it also
Andrew
was an
Garfield.
MCU,
No,
right?
it wasn't. But I feel like there's a way to do an Avengers game, even the type of Avengers game that I think they're trying to sell, and make it feel really personable and fun and goofy
Sure.
in a way that is not a one-to-one to the MCU, but evokes the same feelings that I have about the MCU, which is man, I sure love it when Captain America says things on screen, and I just really didn't feel that
I don't know. I
there.
feel at this point we've been in that echo chamber in that universe
It's
for
true.
so
It's
long
true.
that you can't decouple
Sure.
those
Yeah,
people from it.
definitely.
Because when I first saw it, I was sitting and watching it early this morning, and I was like, the first thing that came to my mind was what bodega-ass version of the Avengers is this?
I saw Tony Stark and I was like, did he have like an allergy reaction or something? Like, what is up with his face?
And I honestly feel like this might be Marvel or someone at Marvel kind of testing the waters of like,
what happens when they all leave?
or like, can we sell these characters without these actors?
Yeah. Right.
And I mean, like, that's my big conspiracy theory.
Sure. But there could be some little market testing conceit there.
And I feel like that's kind of the ultimate part of it that I'm just like, well, if this bombs, like,
well, here's the other part of it that kind of threw me off. The thing also that they played up a lot was they used every single VO actor that we all know.
It's all the ones.
All two of them?
It is literally the VO cabal.
All I saw was Nolan North. Who else is in it?
Troy
Baker.
Laura Bailey. Two more who I didn't recognize.
Yeah, Charles Martinet.
Charles Martinet is there.
It's me, the Hulk.
Mario's there.
Wow.
I want that to be it so bad.
Why not?
I want to see the Guiji version of Hulk.
I'm just saying, why not put Mario in the Avengers? Fuck it.
But it really made me just like, why is no one else? I like all of them. I think they are really, really good at what they do.
Yes.
But there has to be more than just the same four people.
Totally.
Doing every voice in every game at this point.
Well, yeah, and I also don't know. It is an incredibly tall order to make an Avengers game. Like,
sure.
I think that, and what's weird is if this game had came out more or less in this form, like in 2008, we all just would have been like, yeah, of course, it sucks because movie tie-ins suck.
Like that Iron Man game.
Like that Iron Man game, or that Captain America game, or all the like early MCU games when they were still doing that.
Yeah.
Right. But I think we've progressed past that now, and for better or for worse, that game is going to be compared to Spider-Man.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
like if they can't top that, or if they can't get in the vicinity of that, it's not gonna look good.
Right.
Like it's just not gonna look good.
I mean, I'm hopeful. I will say, like, you know, they're not the actors, and they're trying to evoke, like, you know, it's some
they're trying to
rando.
do their own thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, but to a certain extent, but that's still like that's obviously like the Captain America movie costume. It's like, who's this rando wearing it? But like, I mean, I was like immediately sold on Bruce Banner because I don't really think the movie Bruce Banner is very good.
Well, that's because you hate Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah.
No,
you hate Mark Ruffalo?
I don't hate Mark Ruffalo.
What the hell's wrong with you? Why do you hate Mark Ruffalo?
I just think no.
Dude.
So Kahlief and I first watched the stream together, the Square Enix stream.
Yeah?
And we're sitting across from each other at his table, and I'm looking at him like, all right. And then I look over at Kahlief just stone-faced. I was like,
because you can't, like, it's like when you go into any bodega and you're like, I needed Clorox bleach. But they give you like Blorox bleach.
Yeah.
It's like what bleach?
It's
like
not
this
exactly the same.
Yeah, it's like
yeah,
it's like no frills.
same
Avengers.
ingredients, whatever.
Yeah, same.
That is kind of my overwhelming feeling I got out of that, which feels like a bummer because I feel like I'm being like too mean to it, but I'm also like, well, it's the Avengers.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's a high bar.
And also there's a high bar, and also there's no reason that they wouldn't have like more money than God on this project.
So that's the point I was gonna make is that like I think both games look and feel incredibly expensive, right? Like they
what
look.
Do you mean both games?
Spider-Man.
Yes.
Spider-Man and Avengers.
Yes.
But like Spider-Man has this like heart that you're just not seeing in that Avengers trailer.
Yeah.
Sure.
Granted, we've only seen one of these Avengers trailers, so this has time to change. They didn't put a date on it, right?
Next year?
Not actual gameplay.
Well, so that's the thing is that IGN when they put this trailer up, they called it the gameplay trailer.
Did they really?
Because there's like
Ooh.
this much.
Yeah.
People were
like when Iron Man's flying.
arguing about this, but was that gameplay? Because there's those shots that look exactly like Anthem of the Iron Man flying around, where it's like, that could be gameplay.
Sure.
I think it's gameplay in the same way the Killzone 2 trailer was gameplay.
Yeah.
Like it's simulated gameplay is what I think it is.
It is imagining the same things you'd probably do in gameplay, but it's not.
Using the engine, the in-engine stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
You know, a game would never lie to you. Overland coming soon to all platforms in fall of 2019.
Yeah,
Iron Man suit coming to Overland.
No, we're getting the Terminators actually.
Iron Man DLC.
You got the skulls. It makes sense. Post-apocalyptic.
Bodega Warriors.
There
coming
was
to Scorpio.
also a Terminator DLC in one of the
And
press
Gears.
conferences. Yeah.
It was
And
Gears, and there was another thing.
everything.
Yeah, there's
I have
something
nothing
else.
to
I don't
say
know.
about
Yeah, it was
that,
Gears and another thing.
Someone
I
said it
don't-
was a running joke, but I don't know.
It
what
was
it was.
Gears. Oh
And
man.
Gears Funko.
I don't know.
It's Terminator Mania here at E3 2019.
I think it was in Final Fantasy VII. That's
It has
what it
been
was.
12
Really?
years
No.
since it has been 12 years since both of those conferences. I don't remember anything.
I used to remember the things.
But I do think I'm curious to check out Marvel's Avengers. I'm going to keep an open mind. It might totally wow me behind closed doors.
Sure.
I would like to like that game. It's an Avengers game. It'd be the coolest thing on the planet.
Right.
But
So they are showing it here. In what capacity?
I am seeing a thing
Okay.
from Square Enix
Thing.
that I cannot imagine is anything other than the Avengers.
Yeah.
This
It's
isn't
Final
like
Fantasy VIII.
NDA.
It's Final
like,
Fantasy
I
VIII.
just don't know as to deck.
I mean, I'm hoping that once you actually go see it, like, if it is it,
Yes.
if they actually show more stuff that you can actually then talk about later at some point.
I'd be very curious. I'm also very curious about the actual kind of like meta structure of the game. Like, are you like going into missions? Are
Right.
you bringing your friends? Are you co-op?
Is there
what does it look
RPG
like?
mechanics
Is there
at all?
RPG mechanics? Yeah. What does that look like?
I imagine it's got like the way I pictured it from that trailer was that it's going to be like mission based. In between, you're going to the quadcopter, whatever that
Right.
thing's called,
the
and then
helicarrier. Thank you.
Oh,
Well, but
sorry,
it's
I didn't buy that
so
toy
it's
set.
probably not. Yeah, it's fine.
You buy that Lego piece?
Yeah, and yeah, I see it as being like it feels like think back the last year or so. What was the last mission-based game that you played where you could select a mission from the home screen? Like,
Yeah, when I think about that, what I honestly think about is like the Lego games do that.
Okay.
Like, all the
Yeah.
modern Lego games.
Spider-Man
kinda still
does
have
do that. I mean,
Yeah,
there is a
Spider-Man.
mission
Well,
is
log.
that only
but
after you
have an
beat the
open
game?
world. Like you
I-
go to the mission.
Sure.
You
Oh,
can
you mean like
choose
starting
it
from
I'm
a
saying like
hub.
Call of Duty.
you
Like
mean like-
I'm gonna play all gillied up
sequential.
right now.
Yeah.
Yes.
I-
Mile High Club. Yeah.
Well, you know what game did that? Anthem. Anthem did that. That's the way that you get into missions in Anthem.
Yeah, that's
You
a good
don't-
point.
You don't roll around the open world. You like pick from a list and you go to the thing. That game, besides the fact that Iron Man obviously looks like an Anthem character because Anthem characters look like Iron Man.
Or that Anthem should have just been an Iron Man game.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing: is when I was looking at that trailer, I'm like, oh, this feels like Anthem, not because of Iron Man, but because I'm like, okay, if this is a game where it's like you pick your hero's got a level and probably got like, I've equipped Captain America with lightning shield or whatever the fuck, and then you bring that into a mission, and then your buddies have their own like, well, my Iron Man's got laser eyes or whatever the fuck.
I like how all of them sound the same.
Yeah, whatever. They're all just methods of dispatching enemies. Like, but like what I mean is, it feels like Anthem because I feel like that might be the mission structure where it's like bring your friends and then have your friends bring in their version of this hero and then play this co-op mission. That's just off the cuff me spitballing. I might be proven wrong tomorrow and look like an idiot. So who knows?
But they don't have. No one will know. Just behind closed doors.
Well, not until later.
I'll know. Yeah.
Yo, you'll just burst into the editing bay
Yeah, I'll
and rip
burst
this
into
out of the
editing bay and be like,
computer.
"Fuck
Not
You can't
until-
run this.
It's time. It's time.
I'll look like an idiot.
Has there been anything that you've seen in any of the other pressers that you were like kind of excited for, or anything that you sort of like want to know more about in real ways?
I will say that I went to a Outer Worlds appointment today.
Ooh, I have one.
That game looks absolutely incredible.
Yes, I'm excited.
Granted, it was a hands-off demo. It was being live played,
Yes.
but I wasn't playing it. And it looks like everything you'd want from a spiritual successor to New Vegas in all the best
Ooh,
ways. Like
that's
I was
good.
like, oh, it's like you can tell it's a little janky.
Yeah.
It's a little like in a way that I find very endearing.
It seemed like they highlighted that in that trailer they showed
the
because
character animations are not
The PAX
like
one, or
well, yeah, no, the one they had at the
Yeah,
press
the one they had
conference,
at the
right?
press
conference.
So
Okay.
because like there was a point in that trailer where they talked to an NPC, and you know a trailer can be cut and
Yes,
video manipulated,
yes.
but they left in that like camera dumb zoom in on
Yeah.
the face.
Yeah.
It's
It has
like
that. It has
yeah,
that
it has
fucking
that dumb
Vegas
zoom.
bullshit.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Just
the
like
shit-
locking
that's the
into
shit where it's
place.
Because while they were playing the demo, there's like this scene where the character like goes and talks to this like lady who's like the head of a crime gang or whatever, and you just as soon as that convo started, and like you get the like doofy like zoop, and
like,
then like the lady's
they
like
like
hello.
halfway turn around.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, this rules.
They're looking over here for some reason.
But
Like,
the thing that actually made me just like so pumped was like they were really about choice, right? And like who knows how this is going to manifest in the actual game,
Right.
but it felt like choice in the way that New Vegas games did choice, right?
Yeah.
Where it was like you get this mission from a person, and then you go and find the person you're supposed to like kill or whatever, and they're like, hold on, I'll cut you a deal. What if you go kill the person who gave you this mission?
Yeah.
Or like on the way to like do the thing, it's like, well, you have these 3 paths, and like one of those paths is like you could disable the robots, or you could turn the turrets against the guards, or you could sneak in through the sewer, or you can put on a costume, and like all this stuff is like a little bit systemically driven and a little bit narratively bespoke.
Yeah.
And all of that just.
And sometimes you might have like 100 points in science, and you get a unique dialogue choice.
There were moments in that demo where it was clear that like, oh, you could just play this, like your character could be spec'd so. The character that was being played was like they were spec'd so that they didn't deal a lot of damage with guns, but they had like leadership skills, which means that their companions did bonus damage.
Oh.
And your companions have like little meters that fill up, and then they do a special move. And some of them are like, well, this companion's a fast talker, so you get a bonus to speech checks. Basically, It had skill checks, it had all this janky stuff that I was like, I love this. This is everything I wanted out of a new game from Obsidian, and I was very impressed.
What about you, Harris?
When it came to specking characters like that, my favorite thing to do was to make your character as stupid as possible. Because in some of those like Fallout games, they would like the dialogue tree would be affected by that, and they would be too stupid.
There are dumb answers.
Okay, cool. Like you would like it would be like too stupid to form a sentence, and you would just be like, "Buh," and then so like like characters, you would still like win scenarios because characters would like pity you and be like, "Oh, you idiot! Come here, let me help you out. Here's the key." Like and that's always my favorite.
That's
thing.
kind of great.
I've said this before, but Fallout New Vegas, Old World Blues, one of my favorite dialogue choices because it takes place in like a crater. It's like the science lab. They blew up the science lab. And it was like in this mountain, and the mountain turned into a giant crater. And one of the dialogue choices is, "This place looks like it got tag teamed from 2 giant fuckbots."
I had a question for both of you because I know that you both have thoughts about this. What were your thoughts about Watchdogs Legion?
I don't have any. I didn't see it. Damn it! What? I was busy at Disneyland.
Oh, right, yeah. All right,
Had things to do.
That's
Woody
fine.
needed to fall
I heard
over.
there was a dog at some point on stage during Ubisoft.
Yeah, John Barenthal brought his dog out.
John Barenthal brought his dog. You know the Punisher? It's a dog.
I love it.
That worked into the show because he has a dog at one point.
He does, yeah.
That's true.
I think Watchdogs Legion intrigues me. I haven't gotten my hands on it, and also I saw it late. Like I didn't tune into the Ubisoft presser while it was playing. I saw the stuff later. Everything I see about Watch Dogs makes me think it's doing something really fascinating, and I hope they pull it off. I'm worried that by making it so I don't know.
Freeform.
Well, freeform, but also it doesn't feel like it has much of an ideological message other than authoritarianism is bad, which I support, but
sure.
That's very broad. That's very vague. I think it looks really fascinating. I hope that the kind of message of it becomes more clear. I'm worried that basically my biggest fear with it, I was just on a podcast talking about this last night, but like without kind of defining what the actual message of this like hacker activist group is, it very much becomes a Rorschach test of like, well, if you're the type of person who is super conservative, you're going to see them as like, oh, they're fighting against the evil corporations in order to like make it so that healthcare costs money or something, or if you're left wing, you're going to see them as left wing or whatever the heck it is.
Right.
I hope that they are more clear about that in the actual game, because I think
But it's Ubisoft.
But it's Ubisoft. But it's also Clint Hawking, and it's also a lot of other people on that team who have real thoughts about this game.
I wonder how if Clint and his team will push up against that.
I've heard there are very good people working on it. I think Caitlin Tremblay is another person who's on that team. Like a lot of folks who have been working in kind of the procedural generation narrative space are working on this, which is really fascinating.
That's cool.
Right.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. I just have one thing on it.
Go ahead.
Is that I think the maneuver to this like no main character kind of like mob mentality
That's
thing.
really cool.
I think it's a really cool thing because they tried something like this in the first one. I don't know if they did in the second one, but there was a multiplayer mode that was essentially like find the bad guy amongst the city, and it's another player who just looks like an NPC.
Yep.
And it wasn't fun to play, really.
It was terrible.
But it was really a cool idea. And
Yeah.
I think like they're like taking that idea and like really focusing on it and like saying like what can we do to make this fun rather than a bonus game mode. I think that's super, super exciting.
Yeah, that's badass.
So we have to start to wrap up soon. But
Yeah,
we
cool.
didn't talk about Nintendo at all. Just want quick impressions. Anything from there? Just
No More
quick.
Heroes 3. I
Yes.
love No More Heroes.
Uh-huh.
It's my level of stupid. That's the first thing that comes to mind. Dark Crystal game? Like,
Yeah, that was weird.
what?
It looks cool.
Yeah.
I pretty much jumped out of my seat and screamed when they announced that they're doing a Breath of the Wild sequel, even if it's going to take approximately 7 years.
Sure,
Like,
sure.
I don't care. I want that game. I will do anything for that game. It's the only Zelda I care about.
It's a very
Yeah,
Zelda
no, that's
game.
the only Zelda game I've ever played more than 20 minutes of.
Reasonable.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's the end of the block.
That's cool.
Guys, I want you to rep your stuff. Harris, where can people find you?
Yeah,
And
you
Finji?
can follow me on Twitter at Harris Foster, if you manage to spell that right. Some people don't for some reason.
It's weird.
Yeah, I'm at Finji Co on Twitter. We do Night in the Woods, Tunic, Overland, and low-key our best game is Wilmot's Warehouse. Which is
Yeah.
a sorting puzzle game. You know Wilmot?
I've heard.
You know Oh, yeah.
It's a good Twitter account.
It's thank you. All those things. We'd love to see you there. Have you be a part of that. Yeah.
Thanks,
Dope.
Dante.
I'm Dante Douglas. You can find me on Twitter at VideoDante at VideoDante. I write things. I will write a lot of things about E3 probably in the next week or so. I'm also going to be on Giant Bomb tonight.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. I'm on at 10. You're on at
11.
11. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I'm happy to hear that. That's going to be super
Me
cool.
as well. All right. Well, that's our block, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you later.
Keep gaming.
Keep gaming.